Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. And so, as the title tells you, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. And I truly believe that the closest that we can come to replicating the Force, at least in our generation, is via AI. So, an interesting story, when the first, a bunch of scientists came together and developed the first intelligent computer, they asked it, very first question that they went around and asked it was, is there God? And the machine replied saying, there is now. So when we talk about AI, we largely talk about computers that are capable of understanding and communicating like humans, replicating human intelligence at a fundamental level, doing simple things like just understanding our speech, understanding our hand gestures, our movements, being able to take active decisions in real time. Today, most computing technologies revolve around being rule-based. They need to be programmed. They need to have sequences of code. But what if code one day could code itself, and evolve itself? And that's the generation we're moving towards, moving towards intelligent computing, computers that can, in a way, predict the future. We work today with a lot of the banks in the artificial intelligence space. We work with a lot of the bigger corporates and use AI to make intelligent predictions on top of the data. So this is a very interesting comic that I came across, and it talks about how largely in our world today we often take things for granted. You have these computers which are always considered as the whizzes of the world. They can calculate, if you multiply two 8-digit numbers, it can calculate that within a millisecond, or even lesser if it's a better computer. But they can't do simple things, right? Like tell if there's a bird in the image or not. So we have a comic here which talks about a manager actually going ahead and telling his computer engineer to code a platform that can tell where a person is using, find his location. And that's pretty simple in today's day and age. You do a GIS lookup, you do a GPS lookup, and you can tell that. And then he says, you know what, add also, the minute the person takes a photo, add the app should be able to tell whether that's a photo of a bird or not. Now, that's a computing problem that today takes some of the greatest minds, some of the greatest technologies available. And it's definitely a 5-year program, But it seems so simple to us, right? Why can't a computer, which is such a genius at everything else, tell simple differentiations, differentiate between animals, see colors in an image, understand different factors, right? So what will happen in the future? Once AI does become prevalent, it does become pervasive, we've seen a lot of movies and science fiction about what will happen with the future of AI. But you know what? It's actually already happened once in one generation. And it was called the Industrial Revolution at the time. People thought at that time that, hey, it would be great if I could travel large distances, if machines could lift loads, if I didn't need to climb steps, And these all looked at fundamental changes at that time. Imagine if you had to go from across the continent, you take Asia end to end, it would take a bunch of people 30 years to cross the entire continent. And a bunch of people would die along the way. Someone would have a kid. Basically, by the time you're at the other side, you'd be a whole different set of people. And today, it's so simple. With aviation technology, you can just go. Within 5 to 10 hours, you're there, right, where you want to be. And that's what AI will do in its next generation. What the Industrial Revolution did for us, taking our physical world and making it so simple, so easy, that today doing work or exercising our muscles is more an entertainment factor. We go to the gym, we have these special locations where we go to exercise parts of our body just because they're not used enough. And that's what you'll have in the future. The only thing is it'll be a gym for the mind. People will eventually have to start using their brains, because what will happen is AI will take care of everything, right from the food that you order, to whether your milk is over at home, to taking decisions, to in fact summating all my thoughts, making a presentation out of it, and presenting it to you at a TEDx conference. AI will do all of that for us. So we'll need gyms tomorrow that will say, oh, I just want to use my mind because I'm worried I'll I'll not be able to maintain my skills in the future. So mental thought will soon be referred to as exercise. It'll be something we do for fun. We don't really require it in the future. We'll just do it because it's a good pastime. And I've been very fortunate to get a chance to work in the AI space. I founded the company Fluid AI about 7 years ago. Personally, I'm a self-learned coder, so I've been exploring a lot of interesting spaces. And we've worked with a lot of different ideas, a lot of different concepts. We recently got covered in Forbes. And AI, first part I would like to talk about is how AI will change the way we interact with technology today. There'll no longer be UIs, screens, app screens, everything will be gone. You'll simply talk to your machines, you'll simply gesture to them. The way I talk to you today, that's what AI will become in the future. And it's already happening. You see a lot of apps. Like today, if I want to book a Uber, there's this complicated UI I have to go through. I have to click a lot of buttons. And now there are apps available where I can just simply text it and say, hey, I need an Uber. I need to pick it up to me and need it to drop me to so-and-so place. And the app will do everything. It'll understand what you'll say. It's understand your context. I need pizza. I'll just say, okay, I need pizza. This is my thing. It'll know your previous tastes. It'll know what you like on Wednesdays. And it'll just do everything. So interfaces will fundamentally change. They won't be these screens that we see around us every day, the mouse, the keyboard, all of it is going to go. And it's not that far down the line. I think we are in about a 20-year horizon, 10 to 20-year horizon, where we'll see this fundamental shift actually take place. And virtual worlds will seamlessly flow amongst the real world.
Hello, welcome to RBL Bank. You don't need to touch the screen. We also have some great offers on our credit cards. Why don't I take you through that? Scan the QR code with your smartphone to apply now. Hey, let's take a quick selfie. You can download your selfie from the link displayed on the screen.
So that was something we just launched in Nepensi Road, so you guys should definitely go check it out. And let's do something fun. Actually, let's actually demo some of the tech that we have. So let me put this down. And let's fire it up.
Hi everyone, I am Fluid AI.
So I'd like to introduce you
Great to be presenting at TEDx. That blue shirt is looking great on you, Abhinav.
Oh, thank you. So what it's done here, it's put me in the screen. It's created a world around me. It understands my gesture. It responds to my movements. And it creates a fun world around it. And let's say I want to go somewhere else. I just simply select something that I want. And let's say, I want to go somewhere fun. So it's taken me to a beautiful airport in an international location. Let's say I want to take a photo. Simply click it. Then I have a nice memento for me to take home. So you can literally go anywhere in the world now in a matter of seconds. You can be put into environments of companies, and they'll take you around the world to their factories, to their locations. And it just becomes an immersive experience. Now, what we've done in a large way is we've built the technology to not just detect you, but understand you at a fundamental level. So what it does is it adapts itself to each user. There's a lot of AI engines running at the back, and it adapts itself to anyone using the technology. So whether I'm a guy who loves to do big hand gestures or I'm someone who does small hand gestures, it works, And it loves to put me in real-world environments and actually interact with me. So I have this ball I can flick around and throw around. Well, this is fun, but Fluid, I'd want you to give me something more fun to play with, not something so mundane like the lightsaber. And you can actually go ahead. Thank you. You can go ahead. You can play around with it. So let me put this away before I hurt someone with that. You can literally do a lot of interesting things. Like we've recently built the capability of understanding your head movements and tracking it and working through that. So the minute I look to the left side of the screen, the actual camera will pan. The minute I look to the right side, it'll pan to the right. So it's actually understanding not just my body movements, but my head, my gestures across that. And the minute I take a step forward, it'll actually go ahead and zoom into that environment and allow me to zoom back out and work with that. So it's a very, very immersive experience that it builds around. You can actually do a different set of things. So let's say, we all love using our Windows PCs at home with our keyboards and mouses, and now touch has become big. But what we're saying is the next generation will be all about just gesturing your computer, I want to pick up this tab, I simply take my hand, roll it, and I can actually go ahead and move it around and drop it. And, who said we all love gaming, right? So, and I think all of you have played Fruit Ninja and cut the rope on their phones, right? But wouldn't it be a lot more fun if I could take that kind of experience and replicate it via my hand gestures? So just say I take my hand and I start swiping on the screen. So imagine you walk home, it's a hard day's work, you come in, your screen's there, and you can just suddenly start waving your hand and playing your most favorite game that you have. And once you're done, you pick it up, you drop it, and you're back to where you started at. And so this is some shots of our office where we're headquartered in India Bulls. And let's go on and see what else we can show you. Let me go back to the presentation. Yeah. So did you guys enjoy the demo? Yeah. Okay. So that's what we're talking about, taking words and making them more intelligent, more understandable to you and your gestures, to what you would naturally like an interface to do. We have some interesting concepts here as well, when you can actually go ahead, fly drones using your gestures, connect with hardware, interact with it in very natural and unique ways. So here I'm controlling a standard drone using my gestures. I can have
ability, I can
a
go ahead and
robotic
move sideways.
arm
So let's
that
do something
actually
fun. Let me just go ahead and
follows
pick
my
this
hand.
object up. So take my hand down, I take it up, and I've picked my change in angle. And
So whatever I do, it actually goes ahead and follows me and interacts with me, right? So it can have huge use cases, right, from surgeries to any other use cases on mechanical grounds. And the second part that I wanted to talk to you about is AI-based deep learning. Now, this is AI on top of data, AI that works on top of solutions and learns from interesting things. So Arthur Samuel was the inventor of AI, or machine learning as we call it today. And the first thing he wanted to do was to teach a computer to play checkers with him. And he said, I want this computer to beat me at checkers, not just play with me, but beat me. And he tried to write a set of rules, and he said, oh, this is never going to happen this way. So what he did was he programmed the computer to play against itself. It played about 10,000 iterations very quickly because computers, as we know, process information really fast. And suddenly it became so good that in the 90s, it became the world champion in the United States and actually defeated the current checkers champion. And that was the first iteration of machine learning. You take a computer, you make it play against itself, and it'll learn, right? And that's how we as humans evolve and learn. We play against people, and we learn. It's just that with AI and with machine learning, the speed of iteration is humongous, and that's where you get the advantages. So there have been tons of use cases. Tesla with its self-driving car. Computers today can diagnose diabetes-based blindness as good as a doctor just by seeing an image of a person. And it's done this by learning from all the past history of data that it has on this. So how AI evolves is basically it's a set of thousands of civilizations that are generated for a particular objective. So let's say, for the checkers example, I want to go ahead and beat the computer at checkers. It'll make 1,000 civilizations, 1,000 species that play checkers against me. It will then go and evolve each civilization for this objective. Ones that don't do good or not playing good enough are killed off. Ones that are doing good are then further evolved into further kids and siblings. So it's a lot like human evolution, when you come to think of it. So when we talk about the concept of AI in the future, ideally we're dealing with the concept of singularity, which we say that machines that evolve on their own and that learn from their own mistakes. And that's what we as humans are, right? The minute we grow up, the minute we learn new things, we evolve on our own. There's no outside force telling us to evolve. We learn, when food is not available, we learn to find it. We learn from our mistakes. And similarly, if machines can be built to do that, the capabilities that you can unlock are humongous. So like I gave the example earlier of how it was so complicated to move across continents. It took 30 years, and then it got shrunk to 5 hours. Similarly, in the future, you will have AI capabilities wherein you can build a Wikipedia, which is an encyclopedia that took over 5 years to evolve and develop to the stage that it is, and have an AI run through all the data on the web and create it within a few hours. So that's the capabilities we're looking at. So code that can code, ideally. That's the technical term that we like to call it. So will AI ever have a conscience? Now, at the end of the day, once we move to a situation where AI is controlling a lot of interesting things, it's moving into a lot of different directions, AI at the end of the day will actually have its own sets of ethical model grounds that it's built upon, right? It'll have to make decisions of who lives, who dies in a car accident. And that's when we'll see the fundamental evolution of ethics behind AI. And the problem being that AI can't feel pain, AI can't feel emotion. So when you move towards those model grounds, it becomes a very challenging part to build in pain, fear, emotion within an intelligent machine like that. And one interesting thing that I'd wanted to show you is some of the stuff we've been doing on the AI data side. So we recently built a stock market AI that can go ahead and learn and trade on the stock market on its own. Now, we followed the checkers example. What we did was we actually went ahead. So you can see the stock market movement on the left. You can see the profit at the bottom with the number of lots that it's bought and sold in real time. And what it's doing is, as the market goes upwards, it's actually trading in derivatives. So a lot of the stockbrokers out there would really enjoy seeing whether it's a put or a call, we'll always make money because the movement is up irrespective. And what it's doing here is how it's learned to actually make this money is that we just put it out. We said, trade on your own, learn from your own mistakes. Until you make a profit, don't come back to us. And that's what the AI did, right? It's evolved to such an extent that today it makes us a lot of money on the profitability side of building that kind of network. And another interesting one we've built is saying AI that goes ahead and actually goes on Facebook, scrolls a bit, enjoys itself, collects content. So I gave the AI a task before I came here today. to read up a bit about the latest TEDx articles that are coming on Facebook. So what it went ahead, it went online, it logged in, it used my credentials because it's illegal for him to have a Facebook account. So I lent him mine. And he's going through all the articles, he's reading up on all the content, and then what he's doing is he's searching for good stuff that I'd like, stuff that's happy, that's cheery, things that interest me, things that might put a smile on my face. And it's doing it in real time, it's crunching through all the data, crunching through its entire news feed. And at the end of it, it'll give me a beautiful map running a lot of semantic analysis and understanding on top of the data. And here you go, it's built a map, it's talked about all the latest topics that are there. It's given me the ones in green that have high semantic content. So it's read the data, it knows whether content is happy, sad, medium. It generates graphs for that. And it's given me a good list to read from. So that's the capability that AI has today. We're not just dealing with... Thank you. We're not just dealing with unstructured data, we're actually dealing with any kind of data, whether it's written by humans or written by computers at the face of it. And what I'd like to end by saying is that, if you look at the last 3 lines, they say, when does a perceptual schematic become consciousness? Or when does a difference engine become the search for truth? And when does a personality simulation become the bitter moat of a soul? And all these are the great words of Isaac Asimov, who was one of the greatest writers who talked a lot about AI concepts, and you've seen a lot of movies based on the concepts that he's written on. And this quote by Stephen Hawking, he said, the creation of AI will be the biggest event in human history. Unfortunately, it may also be our last. Thank you.